Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a discussion video on breakups. I did one of these videos a long time ago. I want to say 2012 when I kind of first started YouTube, but I don't even think the video's up anymore. I feel like I gave good information in that video. It was just, I was so young. At the time, my breakup was like 2 years prior to making that video, so I was still kind of caught up in a lot of different feelings, whereas now I feel like I could give so much more better advice. I'm also older. I believe 2012, 13, 14. I was like 19 or 20. Clearly I can't do math, but I was like 19 or 20. I was really young, and I just feel like at this point in like stage of the game, I just feel like I could give you totally better advice and better information. So I was originally going to put this on my vlog channel because I kind of been putting discussion videos on that channel, but I feel like breakups and like how to emotionally handle it is more kind of geared towards women than it is men, so I thought it might be better to put it on my beauty channel. I don't know if it really makes a difference to you guys, but I just decided to go ahead and come on here and just put it on my beauty channel. So basically, I just want to help out people who are going through breakups. I know for me, when I was going through a breakup, it was a really trying time in my life. I had never experienced heartbreak. I had never experienced love. It was all new to me. So my breakup was extremely tough, and I felt like at the time no one could really relate or help me. My relationship, I kind of got rid of a lot of my friends for my boyfriend, or I shouldn't say like that. I didn't give up my friends for him. It just, sometimes when you're in a relationship, you just get so caught up in that person that you kind of just make that person your life. It's not so much that you don't want to have friends, it's just that you make that relationship kind of like your like bubble, which can be a good and bad thing. We had broken up. I literally had nobody. I had my family, and that's it. And I felt like nobody in my family could really relate because like everybody in my family ended up with their first love. Like my mom married my father, my brothers married their first loves, like they all got their first loves, whereas I didn't. It wasn't going to work out like that for me. So I kind of felt like really alone. So it was just like a really trying time in my life, and I guess I'm just going to start by sharing my breakup with you guys. I think a lot of you guys might already kind of know about this story because I talked about it over on my vlog channel in my Draw My Life video. If you haven't seen my Draw My Life, I'll have it linked below, but I kind of talk about, extensively kind of what happened in my relationship, and I kind of just respect my ex's privacy, but I feel like sharing my story with you guys can really just be beneficial because it was just the worst thing ever. So let's back it up to my junior year of high school summer. That's where it all started. He was actually hired. It's funny. He was actually not even hired at the time. Who we had hired to cut our lawn had brought my ex-boyfriend along, and that's kind of how we met. So the guy that was doing our lawn was kind of like a family friend, and he kind of introduced us, and it kind of just started there. Now, my parents did not really want me dating. My mom really wanted me to focus more on school, and when I was in high school, I had very strict rules about dating boys. Well, let me tell you, it was so freaking tough because I remember freshman year and sophomore year constantly getting asked out, constantly like to be somebody's girlfriend, And when you're like young, everybody does it, and you see like people in the hallway holding each other and kissing and holding hands. It's like, yeah, I kind of want a relationship in high school, but my parents were so strict, and I actually respected them and was so afraid of them, so I would not do it. Like I was like, I'm not dating. It was tough in high school. I always wanted to be in a relationship, so my parents were like, absolutely no boyfriends till your senior year. So when I met my boyfriend of the time, it was like the perfect timing, and it happened so fast. Like we went to the movies, and then it just like went to his house, met his family, and we met in July, and by the following month of August 22nd, I think it's August 22nd, 2008. It's a date I'll never forget. August 22nd, 2008, he asked me to be his girlfriend. Of course I said yes, and I can't even tell you when I fell in love with the kid, but we had a steady relationship going from 2008 all the way to 2010. So we made it to about 2 years. And then that's when kind of things went south. a little bit before the breakup things went south, and that's usually how it tends to go. But anyway, so yeah, like, he was my first love, totally my first love. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind that I loved him. I feel like a lot of girls kind of, you know, date people and they're like, I don't know if I really loved him because I love this guy. And I can honestly say that without a shred of a doubt, I loved him. I loved him. I fell so hard for him, and I was completely head over heels in love with him. So after about our 1-year anniversary, things started to come out of the woodwork about him, things that I wasn't aware of, and pretty serious things, like disrespect him at all at this point. Like, it's been years since we broke up, so I don't want to put his, like, information on blast, but he basically kind of just didn't tell me some really, really important things that I think anybody would want to know before they get involved with somebody, like big life-changing things. Big secret had come out. I was just like, oh my god, like, I don't even know you. Like, I have no idea who you are. Like, that changes everything. And you know, his whole theory for why he didn't tell me is because he wanted a chance to be with me. He wanted a fair shot because he knew the sheltered life I came from. If he had told me at first, I would have never dated him, which is 100% absolutely true. And that ended up being our demise anyway. You know what I mean? The whole lying and stuff ended up being the reason we broke up. So either way, just the relationship would never have worked out, whether he was honest from the start or whether he told me later like he did. But being that he told me later, it was so devastating because I gave him everything I had. You're opening up yourself to somebody and you've never opened up to anybody like that, and you're just sharing yourself and completely stripping down who you are. So it was really, really tough, and I actually stayed for an entire year after that big secret came out. But that entire year, so I'd say our first year together was really good. The second year was hell, guys, hell. Like, seriously, we fought every day. I caught him in several more lies, and it was like a spiral effect. Like, I just kept seeing who he was. But I was so young, had never been in love, I didn't know how to handle it. We'd fight, next day we'd make up. And I would hang out with him out of a 7-day week, 7 days. So it's tough. It's really tough. Like, I remember my senior prom. He went to prom with me. He never got to go to his prom. He went to my senior prom with me, and he freaking danced with another girl. 2 girls, actually, like, at my prom. So that was a big no-no. All my friends are like, what are you doing with this guy? And I'm like, I don't freaking know. I love him. So yeah, after the other year of just, you know, finding out lies and stuff, I was like, I don't even, like, want this anymore. And he broke up with me. He was like, I don't want this anymore. And I was like, all right. And I was so devastated. And I'll never forget it. It was like his 21st birthday. It was around his 21st birthday. And he went to the strip club. And I kept calling him. I couldn't get a hold of him. The next day, he came to my house. And he was just, like, messed up. Like drinking and whatever else he was doing. I'm sure you guys can assume. And it was just like, I was like, what am I doing with this kid? But that didn't stop there. I went back to him from 2010, I want to say, till 2012. I went back to him, like, a lot. Like, I mean, on, off. He was, like, seeing other girls up in November of 2010. And in December of 2010, he was, like, with another girl. Like, he had a girlfriend. Like, I remember that, but I was still, like, hanging out with him. But, like, who does that? I had nobody. Like, I would talk to guys, but, like, I wasn't seeing anybody. And I was like, if you're gonna move that fast, what does that say about you? What are you gonna do? Just hop in relationship after relationship after relationship? Like, good luck with that. I just went through a lot of girlfriends through that whole year that we were kind of messing around. 2010 to 2012, we kind of still hung out. And he always had girlfriends. A few times he'd lie to me. And I remember one time specifically, he was dating this girl. And he had told me 100%, and I believed him, that she was just a friend. And I was like, no, they can't just be friends. But they had, like, I remember seeing in his truck, like, mall, like, strip pictures or, like, photo pictures from, like, the movies or whatever. And they weren't kissing or anything. So I was like, all right, they gotta be friends. And long story short, he ended up telling me later that they were dating, and I'm like, what are you doing to me? And this girl was kind of like bad news, so I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, this girl is like trashy, trash. and I'm subjecting myself to all sorts of things. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. That was kind of like the breaking point for me. I still talk to him, but I never ever went further than speaking to him. You know what I mean? I wasn't romantically involved with him anymore. I was like, yeah, I'm done with you. You've betrayed me enough. Like, I'm good. It was nothing more than just like, hey, how you doing? I think about you. I hope you're good. He would always try to kind of get me back, and I'm like, listen, girl is gone. Like, you've done enough. You've put me through enough. There's just no way we will ever be together ever again. And ever since like those phone calls started, it always stayed that way. I never wanted to be anything more than like a phone call friend. Like, I just couldn't. You know what I mean? He just was just no good for me. So now he crosses my mind every now and then, because I feel like if you have like feelings for somebody like that, they really don't go away. You care for them, but you just know that they're just never going to be that boyfriend again or that person for you again. You just know that it's toxic, it's disgusting. Why put yourself through something that's not going to make you happy and stresses you out? If it's not making you happy, leave it. Honestly, if you are not 100% happy with somebody, leave it alone. So that's my breakup story. It's now been 2010. We're in 2015. It's been, what, 6 years? I can't do math. So long. And I feel like I'm at such a different place in my life. Like, obviously, if you guys know my channel and have been around for a while, you know I have a great boyfriend. His name's Adam. And if you're new to my channel, I do have a great boyfriend. His name is Adam. And through my whole breakup, he was actually a good friend to me. I was friends with him in that entire time of going through that breakup, and it was good to have somebody there. And I think that's why I love him as much as I do, because I appreciate him being such a good friend and kind of always staying by my side. So ways to cope with the breakup. Okay, so I wish I could go back and tell myself a bunch of things, because looking back, I wasted a lot of time going back to my ex, and I should have totally just stopped it right then and there. I think the minute that he said, this isn't working, I'm done, I should have like had something register in my brain saying, okay, he's saying it's done. I'm gonna cry. I'm allowed to cry. I'm allowed to have feelings, but I'm done. We're not talking anymore. I'm gonna block him, delete him. Get a new phone, get a new number, whatever it takes to just be done with that person is what you need to do. Now, I wish I would have done that, but see, I didn't, because I didn't know how to handle it. And if you're watching right now and you're kind of like, yes, I keep going back to my ex, cut it out. If you've gone back more than once and it hasn't worked, what does that say? It's never going to work. As much as you want it to work and you fight and you try, it's never going to work. Girl, get on with your life. And I wish I would have known that sooner, because I went back to him more than anybody should ever go back to a person and try. And I wish I would have treated it like a death. I got this advice later in life to treat a breakup like a death. You're basically supposed to just be done with the person. They're dead to you, and you treat it like a death, and it's supposed to be better. I never did that, but that's my first piece of advice, is that if you guys break up and you know that they're not good for you, it's toxic, abusive, violent, whatever the case may be, get out and don't even look back. Life is too short to waste your time with something that's never going to make you happy. Even though, like, it's true, the saying goes, Selena Gomez's song, the heart wants what the heart wants. It's so true. You know, if you love someone, you love somebody. You can't change that. And you're totally allowed to have those feelings. But you also have to say to yourself, listen, it's never going to work. Probably never going to be friends, especially if you've had a long-term relationship. I should just cut this out, because I will waste the next 2-3 years of my life on somebody that would never have been worth the time. You know what I mean? And I really wish I could go back in time and have cut him out sooner. But again, like, I had never been through it. I didn't know how to handle it. And that's why I'm here today to make these videos, to give you guys advice. So that's it. You really just have to cut them clean. Also, if you have friends who are kind of closely knitted to that person, I'm not going to tell you to get rid of your friends, but kind of try to like get away from them, or even tell them the truth. Listen, I just broke up with so-and-so. Like, I don't want to hear about them. Don't tell me how they're doing. Have some respect for me. I still want to be friends with you guys, but I want you to kind of have respect for me as well. And then my third piece of advice is definitely talk to somebody, whether it be family members or even therapists. Like, it might sound crazy to some people, like, oh, a breakup's not that serious. You don't need therapy. People need therapy for a lot of reasons. And personally, I think there's nothing wrong. If you feel like you want to talk to someone who is an educated level to deal with you, then you should totally do it. Like, I am totally one for getting help if you feel like you need it. And some people have a hard time handling breakups or things that are emotionally rocky. People just handle it differently. So if you feel like you need to talk to somebody, definitely seek help. There's help everywhere. There's so many therapists that are more than willing to work with you and help you out. So that would be my third piece of advice. My fourth is to take care of yourself and stay busy. The first thing people do, or women do usually when they go through a breakup, is they just start crying. They get like almost depressed. They don't want to do anything. I don't want to work out anymore if working out was your thing. I'm going to eat this Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I'm going to eat another Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And they kind of just lose care in themselves. And guys, you just can't do that over a guy. Like, the thing you should do is work even harder in the gym and get your body banging, take some Instagram selfies and be like,
you lost me, like, what's up? What's good?
For real though, guys, take care of yourself. Don't let a breakup make you become somebody that you're not. If you're this outgoing, bubbly person, don't change. Don't allow somebody else to have that much control over your life. And as far as tips and tricks to get over a breakup, that is my best advice. You just have to treat it like a death. You got to continue to always take care of yourself. If you have friends who are linked to that ex, you have to talk to them and tell them, hey, I don't want to hear about my ex. Or talk to a therapist or talk to family. Talking about your problems really does make you feel better. Keeping it bottled inside, it really doesn't get any better. So I hope that this video was informative and helpful. I hope that my story can help somebody out there, as well as my tips and tricks on how to deal and cope with a breakup. Breakups are never easy, but trust me, you will get through it. And even though you don't think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, there is. So many people told me when I was going through my breakup, you'll be fine, you'll get over it. And it like was in my brain that they were telling me that, but it never registered until later in life. Like, damn, they were right. So if you are in this position right now where you're going through a terrible breakup and you think it's like always going to be hurting and you're never going to get better, you will. And then eventually you'll find somebody, and when you find that person, it'll make you realize, this sounds corny, but it'll make you realize why it never worked out with anybody else in the first place. Because that's how I feel with my boyfriend Adam. Like, it all makes sense why it didn't work out with that person, because he wasn't the right one for me. But now I found the one who is more than perfect for me and makes me happy. And I can't even look back to that time in my life because I so wasn't happy. And this right here is true happiness, and being with somebody who makes me happy. You should never look to a relationship to make you happy. However, there's nothing wrong with somebody adding to your happiness. You know what I mean? You should never rely on a guy for happiness, but if someone can add to your happiness, that's a great thing. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!